Hey, we're gonna head over to the 250 class.
Mhm.
Epic performance from Haiden Deegan. 1-2 performance. We actually have a producer question. Jason Thomas reported Deegan's mechanic was telling him Vial is coming. When when you're in that first, when you're in first, do you want that kid that kind of update on your pit board? Um, yeah, I think you do. Honestly, I did. Maybe some riders don't. Good question, Aaron. I like to manage my race from the pit board. Also, as we're watching replay of Hayden coming by mechanics area right now, he rode a phenomenal race. Honestly, I got the great drone footage right now of him doing his I don't know 360, 1080, whatever it was, Olympic skills there, flying off the motorcycle, coming down this hill right before mechanics area. So I'm
Yeah.
sure his mechanic was out of breath, gasping for air when he watched that happen. As he's leading, and here he goes. He just hits that kicker just
Oh.
with, I think, with the bike too far on a lean. That's what I think that he was leaned over too far, and as he hit that one kicker, all the inertia went out to the right and kicked him out to the right. If the bike was standing up a little straighter, I feel like he would have been able to go through that. Right here, he leans over and catches that, and it just kicks that motorcycle out to the right, and then it bites. And look at him fly through the air. And look where, if you watch his head, he's constantly he's constantly figuring out where the ground is. And I
Yeah.
think that is something that is key in crashes like that. So for injury purposes, if you can spot the ground and kind of what's happening when you're spinning in the air like that, I think that really helps. Um, but nonetheless, it was a he reminded me kind of like of myself when I go back and go on YouTube. I know it's been a long time, but I, riding on the edge, not riding, not following guys, always on a different line, making passes where other people haven't passed all day. He passed so many guys out of the third turn coming up the hill there off that with that hip double. He passed so many guys there just by
Mhm.
carrying all of his momentum, all of his speed around the outside, and then getting a straighter shot up to that, because may not look like it on TV, but as you come down, the, this is the hill I'm talking about. But as you come down, leading into that left-hander, that you're turning all the way up that.
Mhm.
It's not straight by no means. So you're only on a small sliver of the tire for a very, very long time. And you go from tacky dirt to some slippery to some dry, slippery dirt. So he's outside up on Chance Hymas there, squares him up, and is able to come up right down the inside. But you're turning that whole way. So really, he had some really, really epic lines and speed, that day.
Well, Hayden is really impressive right now. I spent a little bit of time with Brian before the start of the second moto, down in the signaling area, and I told him, I was like, "Man, I'm so impressed by how much Hayden has come," because I was there in the fall of 2022 when he turned pro, and he was all over the place. He had some big, crazy crashes like at, Ironman MX, and and I put that down to rookie mistakes. To see where he's at now after one full season under his belt, and it shows that, yeah, he gets a lot of headlines, he gets a lot of clicks, he gets a lot of uh, conversations going, but he delivers.
Yep.
Ricky would always say scoreboard, and right now Hayden's able to do that. And we were looking at the crash. He bounced back up so fast that it seemed like there was a little trampoline back there
Yeah.
on the side of the track. And one thing you said, Ryan, I'll never forget. I went to visit Travis Pastrana working on a story a few years ago, and he has this big trampoline in his front yard, and he was bouncing his daughters like sky high, and they were doing all kinds of crazy things and just landing perfectly every time. And I was like, that's a little sketchy. And he's like, well, Lindsay and I want to teach the girls aerial awareness because they're
Hmm.
competitive cheerleaders, and they do all the jumps and vaults and everything. And he said, when you're up in the air, I don't want them to come down the way I did. I want them to know where they are. And I just wonder if Hayden has a little bit of that in him, because you're right. that was a violent crash, and every bit as violent, I think, almost as what we saw Jet do, but he just got right back up. And did the pit board the lap before spook him and have him lose concentration because Vial was coming? I really don't think it was that. I think it's exactly what you said. He just caught himself in a tough spot, and but fortunately the track didn't bite him that time. And I think that if that didn't keep him from winning, it's going to be really tough to keep him from winning moving forward. I'm not saying he's going to win out or anything, but Levi and Chance and of course Tom, they all have the speed, but he's shown it in every moto so far.
He has. That's the thing. He, with all of the clickbaits and the good and the bad that comes with all of that, it's really bad when you can't back it up. And Haiden, to this point, has been able to back up all of that. So, I think he's got these guys on the defense right now. He's strong throughout both motos till the very end. Tom was on rails. He was coming. I don't think it was. I don't think I don't think he was feeling the pressure of why he crashed. I don't think it was that. I think that he was riding hard. He was, pushing. Aaron asked our producer asked another question. Should he have backed it down a little bit, and not rode as just to that edge? I think he had to. I think Tom was on rails. I think Tom was coming. Not to say Tom would have caught him and then been able to pass him. But you want to keep that nice little breathing distance, and yeah, it bit him there. I don't think it was a case of him just catching that one kicker, that one braking bump wrong, too much on a lean, and that bike just all that energy and inertia went out to the right too much. I think if the bike would have been vertical, a little more vertical as he hit it, because you can see as he tries to turn right here, he tries to turn off because he was always going to that outside. He ran that outside pretty much both motos all the time. So he wanted to get back and open that turn up so he could really carry a lot of roll speed and corner speed through there. So he was trying to get back to the left. It was just a little too much lean angle, I felt, for when he grabbed that kicker, So, but nonetheless, he he was able to win that overall, and the rest of these guys are going to have to figure out how to stop him.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.